Serious question. Have you, loyal listener, ever had an idea that is objectively ridiculous, contributing not a thing to the betterment of our world, and you wisely move on to less foolish things, only to have this idea pop back up, and you think, no, still preposterous. Enough preamble. What we're talking about here is an elaborate rail system to deliver cocktails, desserts, small things from the kitchen to the dining room table. Coffee. It's 10 a.m. And so today we introduce a new guideline. Whoa! Cinodrome Studio Guideline number 7, which states that if an idea doesn't go away for 12 years, you have to see it through, just to prove that it was ridiculous in the first place.
It's the Lionel Corporation, maker of toy electric trains.
It was 12 years ago that we visited the Sacramento Train Museum and saw their remarkable collection of Lionel trains, something that I'd never paid any attention to previously. And I just fell in love with the things. That is just one of the most gorgeous objects ever. In Lionel world, once you get to know it, there's a divide between pre-war and post-war. Pre-war is all cast and stamped metal, no plastic, and I find it just magnificent. So I started collecting bits and pieces here and there, and I justified the collecting by joking that I was going to run it from the kitchen to the dining room table. And over the years, I haven't come up with a better plan, so here we are. And here is how, with any engineering luck at all, this will work. Kitchen, control panel here, more on that later. But from here you can see the delivery location and pickup location. Tunnel entrance about here with a section of track, a loading depot that will come and go as needed, maybe hanging on the wall there. 20. Every inch is 6 inches. That's 11 feet. The beginnings of a planned view of this layout. Kitchen counter, china cabinet that the train will pass through. In between the china cabinet and the kitchen is a void right in there, and I know it's filled with vents and chimneys and electrical, and the first order of business is to find out if passing through it will be easy or hard or impossible. Fabulous. Where I just drilled that hole, the void is wide open up top, chimneys are down here. So the train can make a straight shot into the kitchen, where it wants to enter the china cabinet to be determined.
Lionel was an important producer of delicate military equipment during the war. In the testing lab, trains run continuously day and night until they break down.
Every project seems to have its dull bits, and this one's no exception. The shelf on which the train is going to be set up needs to lower by all of an inch. And while I'm at it, it would make sense to rework all these shelves. And one potentially interesting thing about this is that we are dealing with two mysterious voids in the wall in this project. This house was built in 1915 and heavily remodeled in the 30s, and apparently they reduced the size of the china cabinet and just left behind 1.5 feet. In the old section, there's beadboard at the back. It was covered up. Perhaps I can restore it in the rest of the china cabinet. Sure enough, it looks like the original 1915 beadboard is sitting behind this 1/8" paneling. And the less exciting but important bit is wrapped. I have this shelf ready to go. We'll leave it out while we build a train. I've opened up this void to figure out how we're getting to the kitchen. And in general, while I've been updating the cabinet, I've finalized plans over here. The collection of pre-war Lionel buildings and accessories will live in the china cabinet. Lit lighting can be turned on and off on the control panel in the kitchen. Our train will spend most of its life in the china cabinet, can be called to the kitchen at the control panel, then travels along the back of the china cabinet because there is a tight but doable 100-degree turn to make crossing the drawbridge and onto the table. The section of track on the table will be removable just like the section of track in the kitchen. It then returns back into the china cabinet to hang out with its beautiful collection of stamped metal. With something resembling a plan view sorted out, the first thing I'd like to tackle is the tunnel exit out of this wall and the drawbridge coming out of here. To do that, I had to start thinking about the elevation. The train has to travel from the height of the track at the table, and the whole thing rises 3 inches to the kitchen. This all required an awful lot of head scratching and measuring. But while no one was looking, I prepped a few panels to install. Once the deck is in, I can lock down the height of our tunnel.
Lionel Trains. There's everything you ever hoped for.
It's the water. Progress. Our big curve is coming off the ramp, reaching this point to meet up with this glorious thing. It will live here permanently on a servo motor and will rise up when not in use. My one concession so far to pre-war, post-war are to use these tunnel arches. I have 4 of them, and I'm going to bash them together into a single arch and marry it into this wall.
Even the paint job must conform to reality.
Railroads have come a long way since the days of Tom Thumb. To the dismay of generations of American mothers.
I think we should call this a part 1 and move on with our lives. I wanted this atypical addition to the house to look as much a part of the house as possible, so I painted it the same hue as the walls. This plywood lip is temporary. It will be replaced by some sort of girder structure which will be aesthetically a match to our bridge. So that structure plus the system that goes onto the table seems like a part 2. Electronics, a motor for the bridge, all the lighting running to a controller in the kitchen. Part 3, completing the tunnel and the track into the kitchen. Part 4, and the train itself, which will be tricky because it needs to be battery powered and remote control operated, requiring some customization. Part 5. At the head of this little story, I talked about the absurdity and pointlessness of this build. I have to say I know the point. I'm building this for the same reason that I turned our garden into a movie theater and spend 6 months of the year restoring a lakeside camp that will sleep 30. It is to nurture relationships with friends and family. Another way to say that is to maintain community. And maintaining and building community requires work and is important. And there's a lot of work to be done here, but when I have a functioning rail delivery system to the dining room table, I have every intention of seriously upping my cooking and entertaining game at the San Francisco house. So I had best get going on part 2 through 5.